He felt that blade catch again and again, but each time he pulled it from the flesh it had met and threshed out for new targets. The knife blade was growing sticky, and he felt a hot trickle of moisture running down inside his sleeve. The salty stench of blood was in his nostrils as he fought. He was almost exhausted when the rush stopped momentarily. He sprang up and stood for an instant looking about him. Then the charge closed in again, and the fiendish impact of bodies almost forced him to the ground once more. With a leap, he gained the top of a coffin lid and stood there a moment, thrusting down into the mass below him. They were closing in at his back. He felt a knife gash his thigh. With the barrel of his pistol held tightly in his hand, he beat down into the writhing shadows which struck up at him. He sprang clear of the clutching hands and hit the ground running. A swelling roar of sheer rage met this tactic as the guards saw their quarry escaping. With one accord, they plunged after him. Running with all the speed he could wrest from his tired body, Mahone dashed around the corners of the grim boxes and skirted the mounds. Suddenly, a shot rang out ahead of him, to be followed by another. Mahone zigzagged and tried to change his course. Flame burst out at him again. A bullet caught him in the shoulder, whirling him about. He lurched, stumbled, tried to catch himself. With the momentum of his speed carrying him forward, he plunged almost horizontal into the side of a coffin. The yells grew dim in his ears, and he felt himself slipping into the dread black of unconsciousness. When he regained his senses, he felt himself held tight between two wooden walls, which crushed at him. He tried to move his arms, but he found that they were bound to his sides. His legs were lashed out straight, and he could not bend his knees. Not a foot above his face, he could feel the presence of wood. Suddenly, he realized where he was. He was bound tightly in a coffin. The heavy lid had been placed above him. He was sealed in, and the smell of rotting flesh was making his senses reel. He was helpless in the hands of the men who had stolen the green god, turning Tientsin into a bedlam of murder. Did they think he was dead? Would they leave him there beneath that heavy lid to die? Although the lid was not nailed down, as Chinese coffin lids never are, its weight was sufficient to resist any effort to move it from the inside, even if his hands were free. Straining his arms into his sides and then out again, he found that he was powerless to release the strong ropes which held him. He stared up into blackness, a panicky sense of failure taking hold of him. He had failed in his mission to return the green god to its proper place in the temple, and in that failure, he was about to die horribly. The fetid air closed in upon him and seemed to weigh down and pin him in his gruesome confines. Then, through the thick walls of his prison, he could hear the murmur of voices. He pressed his ear to the wood to hear better. The soft, cultured accents of a Chinese gentleman came to him.
If this foreign devil knew where to find the green god, others will also come. We will take it to the house of Soliang and hold it there for the master when he comes for it. You will stay here, hiding in a coffin, and when the messengers come, tell them to go to the house of Soliang.
Mahone's heart raced as he heard those words. They thought he was dead, and they were about to remove the green god to a well-known lair of thieves in the outskirts of Tientsin. Then he had been right about the whereabouts of the green god, if he could only get loose. But his heart plunged sickeningly as he heard the next words.
You will bury this foreign devil, so that his fate will forever remain a secret.
They were going to bury him alive. He knew what that meant. Slow suffocation. Going mad, trying to breathe the poisoned air. Buried alive and upright, as the Chinese dead are buried. Suffocation standing upright. The cultured voice came yet again.
He is bound securely, and the devils within him will be thwarted in their attempts to escape. Thus, we will be pursued by no demons. Have the men dig the grave.
Mahone heard the clank of a crude pick striking rocks, and the scrape of a shovel picking up the dirt. He was lying there powerless, listening to the rattle of tools as they dug out his own grave. They were digging a hole 4 feet square and 8 feet deep. They would lift his